So, we hadn't talked about religion yet. This map shows the most common faiths practiced around the world. And of course, without surprise, what's the number one faith practiced in Latin America? Roman Catholic, sure. And of course, with that giant statue, Christ the Redeemer, you guys are familiar with that? It's in Brazil. And again, you can kind of break this down. Note, though, there are other faiths around. For instance, there's quite a few Muslims in the central part of South America. But Roman Catholic's definitely the number one. However, one other thing happens whenever you move people from place to place. Syncretism. Syncretism is the blending of cultures. Basically, a cultural element is created by taking different elements from different cultures. So, for instance, we have various religions that were created. Basically, we have voodoo as an example. You guys know what voodoo? Do you guys know what that's all
I have
about?
also seen when they cook it and it all happens to actually. The white ones are the good things you want to have with your person, and the black ones are the bad things.
So, the religion itself is actually a blend of Christianity as well as polytheism, paganism, that originated in Africa, and various holidays and festivals that are Native American. So basically, we have elements from each of the different branches combined into one. For instance, in voodoo, God is God. But there's a belief that there's all these basic spirits, some more powerful than others, which is kind of where the voodoo all comes from, the representation. That are sort of like servitors of God, not quite angels, but spirits is more the word. So again, it's a syncretic religion that blends these elements together. Another example is Rastafarianism, which probably the thing that most people are familiar with Rastafarianism is Bob Marley. Yeah, he was a Rastafarian. Anything else you guys know about Rastafarianism? For instance, it tends to be they focus on marijuana that they believe is a religious item. There's So there's a lot of stoners who are like, man, I'm like Rastafari. No, you're not. You're just a stoner. Rastafarians believe that they can experience the divine, they can experience God by smoking marijuana. It can alter their state of mind. There's actually many things that believe that the use of drugs can help them experience the spirit world, and things like that, shamanism, all kinds of things like that. But another thing about Rastafarianism is that, well, for instance, you know the expression, your body is a temple? They take it literally. I mean that literally. So you don't alter your temple. You don't deface it. So you don't cut your hair. You don't trim your fingernails. Things like that. If there's a surgery you should get, that's it. That's how Bob Marley died. He actually died of a cancer, believe it, of the liver, that he could have had operated on probably to save him, but he didn't because of the religious beliefs. So, again, it's based upon Christianity that has other elements involved. Again, usually animist. As far as music and dancing is concerned, there's a few different types of dance that we can talk about. The two ones that are kind of more unique are samba, which is created in Brazil, and capoeira, which is also created in Brazil. Capoeira is actually martial arts. That's dance martial arts. It's kind of interesting because it looks like kind of like a dance in gymnastics, but it was meant to train slaves in fighting. It was a way that they could hide martial arts training from slave masters. So it was a form of protest and eventually became more or less a dance. We'll learn more about that later. Samba is actually from Spanish court dancing that has been evolved based upon music from the region, which blends again Spanish music with that of the Native American rhythm structure, but based upon African instruments. So it's pretty unique by comparison. It doesn't exist anywhere else. Furthermore, calypso and reggae music. Calypso, okay. You've ever heard island music? You know what I'm talking about? It comes in CDs, but it's always got a steel drum. It's always like dee 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 dee. You know what I'm talking about? That's calypso. Yeah. It's a type of music. It actually bases its rhythms off of African, indeed even Arab drumming, but it's different instruments. So again, that mixing the cultures. Reggae, yeah, Bob Marley, he's the most famous of the reggae artists. It was actually based upon the civil rights movement, which occurred in Jamaica. Basically, there was a minority of whites controlling all the wealth and land and basically oppressing the majority of blacks. So it was a more protest. It was a peaceful protest for sure, but it wasn't happy, everything was nice. If you think about like Bob Marley's music, you actually take apart the lyrics, no woman, no cry, and stand up for your rights, things like that. It's not necessarily the nicest music. It's not a piece of happiness and love. It was, hey, this is a for real problem we deal with this. Yeah, but it was peaceful. That's the thing. So again, blends of different music forms, things like that. Understand syncretism? So what is syncretism? Sure. Fantastic. Okay. Another example of syncretism. What is this? Carnival, yes. It's their version of Mardi Gras, essentially a celebration before Lent. Yes, because if you're going to go all religious and do that stuff, you need to have a good debauch before that happens. It's a giant party. The only major difference is how long does Mardi Gras last? 1 day. Carnival lasts a week. So it's a bit more. Yeah. Again, you'll learn more when we get to the video, but it's a pretty cool thing. Any questions? That's it, really, in terms of the notes. So I'll stop that there. If you guys have no more questions, we'll play Trivia Crack.